All right, so I'm currently on the phone with Omer. He's another musician that reached out about the current interview series. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the opportunity to introduce himself.
Um, Hey everybody, I'm Omer. Uh, been playing music for like over 20 years now, and it's really excited for the opportunity to kind of talk about what got me started and what keeps me going, because it's not like commercial success or anything.
Sure, sure. Well, on that note, why don't we just go ahead and get into it? When did you first find music, and what about it spoke to you to a point that you wanted to participate in it?
Um, I actually, before I ever really did any music, I would just like to go around singing. I was probably like 10, 11 years old, and I would write songs and sing them for like friends or adults, people, anyone. Um, and it wasn't until I kind of got into my core group of friends that there was a guitar player and stuff, and they were like, "Oh man, you sing? Well, we're gonna start a band. You're the drummer." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, I'd never thought about drums. I didn't know anything about drums, and I went and took lessons, and I fell in love with it. And to this day, I still love playing drums. Um, but since I was, already kind of writing songs and singing songs, I still wanted to pursue that. So eventually, probably about like when I was 15 or so, started teaching myself guitar, and really haven't put it down since.
Awesome. So let's actually take a step back and go back to learning the drums. So did you do like personal lessons on your free time, or were you involved in like the school curriculum at all?
No, no, it was a personal lessons after school, like once a week or something. I met with this guy, and he started from ground one, like, one and two and three. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about it. Honestly, I didn't know anything about music at the time.
Okay. And then once you did decide that you wanted to branch out and start singing and also learning guitar, how did you find the process from transitioning from playing drums and then using that like rhythmic knowledge to apply to guitar?
Oh, it definitely it helps you to approach it differently and approach like sections of songs differently. Like I said, I had already been singing, I guess. I mean, I honestly, I don't think I can sing now, but I've been singing for since before that. I was already writing songs. I just didn't have any way to like, I didn't understand how you put music behind it. So picking up a guitar, like my friends were all doing it. Someone showed me what a power chord was, and I was like, oh shit, I can do this. And just kind of went from there.
Sure, sure. So you kind of mentioned that at a very early age that you were participating in, the garage band type frame up, like with your friends and stuff. Is that something that you did, all through being like a kid through your teenage years?
Yes, I was in probably 15 bands as a teen that did nothing, went nowhere, just like practiced and wrote songs and never played a show ever. It wasn't until after my time in the service, which I was also in some bands who did nothing and just like wrote songs together and jammed,
Hmm.
that I finally got into my college band and got to really experience getting out onto stages and playing and stuff. But yeah, I was all over the place in bands, playing everything. I've been a drummer in bands, I've been the vocalist, I've been the guitarist, the bassist. Just like, hey man, I'll fill in wherever.
So, my knowledge of being in the service is very limited. Is it somewhat the same dynamic of trying to find band members as it is anywhere else? You're posting ads out on Craigslist looking for a
Oh yeah,
keyboardist, or okay.
yeah. Craigslist works. I mean, obviously, my time in the service, I spent most of it in North Carolina in the dorms. So it was pretty chill. I was just on base, and I mean, you meet people. I had a drum set in my room, and at the time, I think I only had like 4 or 5 guitars. So I was very unique in that respect. Most people in the military don't have a drum set in their room, so word got around. Oh, is that word got around? Like, oh yeah, that kid's like trying to start a band or something. If you happen to play guitar.
Sure, that's pretty cool though that they let you have all that stuff on bass though.
Yeah, they didn't love it.
So you mentioned that after that you moved on to college, and then you got into like your college band that actually started to get out there and do some gigging and touring. How did you find that process of transitioning from not having played a show with the previous bands that you'd been with to now you're actually starting to do shows and whatnot?
Well, I mean, the transition part was easy because we wanted to play shows in other bands. We just didn't get to that point.
Mm.
So it wasn't like for lack of trying, but yeah, it was refreshing. It was different. The college I went to was actually Full Sail. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's like a
Mm-mm.
recording arts and engineering school.
Oh, okay,
So I mean,
cool.
everyone there is really geared towards, hey, let's make music. Let's go do something with music. So with everyone having that same mindset, it didn't take long. Like we weren't even making a band. We were all kind of working on individual projects. But when we brought them together and showed them to each other, everyone's like, "Oh shit, guys, we should start a band."
Okay, so did you kind of come out of the service with the intention to go to music school then?
Oh yeah, that's the only reason I went.
Okay,
Full
perfect.
Sail's like crazy amount of money, and I
Hmm.
was like, okay, well I'll go to give them 4 years of my life, and then they'll pay for most of my college.
Hmm. And is that how that worked out?
Yeah, that's typically how it worked out, and now I guess I am a career musician, but I'm also just a stay-at-home parent. I don't really have a
Hmm.
job,
Okay.
so I got this bachelor's degree for recording arts and engineering for kind of nothing. I mean, granted, I use it.
Hmm.
Like I was in the studio yesterday, I was using my skills,
Hmm.
but as far as was it really worth going to school here, or could I have maybe just moved to Orlando and joined a band?
Hmm.
50-50.
Sure, sure. So are you with the same project now that you started in college, or have you transitioned to a new
No,
project?
no. I've since joined another band. After we all got out, pretty much everyone started drifting their separate ways. Some went to Nashville, some went back home, some just went on the road. And so I was the only one who stayed here in Florida.
Hmm.
So I just kind of had to, we did for a while do some kind of online over the air, wrote a few more songs, did a few more tracks together, but eventually we all kind of went to our own things.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
but the once I did start another band, Canvas, I'm still currently in that band going on almost a decade now of just playing here in Central Florida.
Okay, and you mentioned that you started this project. So, are you contributing more to it than just drums or guitar, or what is your contribution to it?
Oh, I'm actually the vocalist of Canvas, and that's all I do. But the original songs that we wrote together, I did write the guitar to. It was just me and a drummer, and then we found a bassist, we found a guitarist, and I started doing vocals because that's what I did in my college band as well as vocals.
Sure. And so, what are you guys up to now? You mentioned that you are writing. Are you putting out albums? Are you looking to start gigging? Like, what phase are you in?
Oh yeah, we play out. We've been playing out for years now. We're available on Spotify. We're actually just finished up in the studio with just like another 4-track EP that will be out on Spotify hopefully this summer.
Okay. And you mentioned that you've been in this project for about a decade now. Do you kind of see this as like your forever home project, where you're not really looking to join any other projects?
Oh goodness, no. I spread myself out pretty thin and consider trying to cast a wide net and do all kinds of other stuff. I have my own solo kind of acoustic folk punk that I do. I'm also a rapper, which
Mm-hmm.
I think I sent you a link for that Gang Genghis Kong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in another deathcore band, Dem Yeti Boys, where I try and focus on just playing guitar, but I do some backing vocals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and actually, Canvas might be coming to an end, sadly, after about a decade. We're trying desperately to replace our guitarist. He's going to be moving away from us this summer,
Mm.
and we don't know. We're weighing our options as far
Sure.
as how to press forward, which sucks because we just finished all this music and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and gonna put it out, and it's like, well, why?
Yeah, that's part of the hard part of keeping a band together is, what do you do when one
Oh,
of them
big time.
leaves?
Uh, in being with Canvas for over a decade, we have gone through about 6 drummers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just can't hold on to drummers. We have no idea why. We've had to relearn the same music multiple times to the point where you're just like, I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to do something else because I'm so tired of looking for drummers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a new one though. We've never lost our. He's been our original guitarist for 10 years, so we've never had to replace that.
Sure. Sure. Definitely. So, barring any sort of inability to replace a guitarist, what would you like to see for yourself, in 5 or 10 years, participating in music? You said you're casting a wide net. What do you see for yourself?
Honestly, because of the whole John, my guitarist, leaving thing, it really has put me in a thought process of where do I see myself with music. So that's an interesting question, but I have a lot of solo material, kind of pop punk in in respects, post hardcore stuff. Um, I've been in a lot of metal bands now, and I'm really I'm trying to just put out something different, just do something lighter, I guess. Not so serious, not so aggressive. I don't think my body can take it anymore, honestly.
Sure.
The heavy stuff really takes it out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you particularly mean vocally or like mentally?
vocally and physically, a live Canvas show is a kind of like a very destructive, kind of like Weird Al Yankovic with like appliances
Interesting.
and yeah, I break a lot of stuff. I smash things. I cut myself and bleed all over the place.
Nice.
It's a real. It's like an art piece. I look at each live show like a piece of art, a live performance, you know.
Sure. Sure.
And I really try to give 110% in doing that because that's what the music calls for. That's why I call it canvas. My band has given me this
Mm-hmm.
beautiful canvas that I have to paint on with my art.
That's very cool. I love that concept. That's great. So what are some of your favorite memories of, being a part of music, participating in for so long that have had an impact on you?
Well, maybe I'm just a narcissist, but most of it has to do with myself. But I think probably my favorite thing, maybe more so about the scene and the sense of community that I've come to find here in Orlando and in Central Florida in general. There's a lot of different, I guess, groups and things, but there's definitely a lot of loyalty among everyone, and everyone's kind of working towards the same goal, and that's a really beautiful thing, even if it's toxic and doesn't really work all the time.
So obviously Canvas, but where can people come in and take a listen to the stuff that you're doing and the stuff that you're putting out there across all of your different projects?
Well, yeah, you can find Canvas at Canvas Band FL on Facebook. Well, Canvas Band FL backup account on Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg kicked us off, hasn't explained why, so we had to start over.
That
But
sucks.
also Canvas Band FL on Instagram. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube channel, Canvas Band FL. I'm always putting a lot of really zany videos up there and crazy ads. Um, I have a lot of characters. It's fun.
Awesome. So what's uh, a good message that you strongly believe in that you want to put out there?
Um, don't trust the government. I think that's the strongest message that I put in my music. And I mean, a lot of it is more self hatred, but the outward stuff, the outward anger is usually don't trust the government, the media. We're being lied to constantly, and we just need to come together as a community and face that and do better.